Sunrise Extra on this Wednesday. The pomp and circumstance music playing because, yes, it is a historic day. It's Inauguration Day. Brenda and I are in our mustard yellow.
Of course.
What does that mean? Yeah, I don't know. We just want to, be yellow today and bright and sunshiny. So our question today is, how are you feeling on this, it's been a weird year. It's been a weird election. And with COVID, so much has changed about what we've seen in inaugurations in the past. And we posed this question yesterday on our Facebook page. And oh my goodness, you guys. Yeah, over 2,000 comments. Wow. Now, all across the spectrum. So we want to chat live with you guys and kind of get your takes on it.
It is like dangling a little piece of cheese, I feel like, in front of our viewers to some degree. I mean, you would never start an interview with someone saying, so, how you feeling?
Yeah, sometimes you do.
Well, you don't know, if you don't care about it being a very long interview, because that could then suddenly go in any kind of direction. You don't know where it's going to go. But we did want it to be that way in regards to today's coverage.
Perfect for this show, in this format, yeah.
Nina, that's what we are, little pieces of cheese.
Oh, I love cheese.
Rod's got the same color in his background. I need to find a piece of mustard yellow to stick into my box somehow.
I like the fact that I'm feeling patriotic, because I would hope many Americans are. It's a very important day in our democracy every 4 years, as we see in some cases the return of a president, in other cases, as today, a new president taking the oath of office and starting to steer our country, and hopefully what will be very good times for all of us in the coming 4 years.
I want this to be a show that anyone feels they can watch and feel good about watching, regardless of what side of the fence they may be on, because I was thinking today during our Sunrise show, as we listened to President Trump speak live on his way out, and of course in a few hours we'll hear Joe Biden speaking on his way into the presidency. We have viewers who voted for both men. And quite a few viewers who voted for both men. So I know there are some people who are ecstatic about today. There are others who aren't happy with the way the election turned out. But regardless, I think, like you just said, Rod, to me, this is a day in history, and I was counting it up. There's only been 8 men who have become president during my lifetime. So it's a rare event in a lifetime. And this is a day of history in the United States. And so to me, it's a big day, regardless of who you voted for, regardless of who I voted for a few months ago. It's still a big day in our country's history.
Let me read just a couple of the comments that we've had come in, and they're kind of on the opposite ends of the spectrum. So Barb says, best day ever. It's like Christmas and New Year's and the 4th of July. So relieved and hopeful for our country. But then we have another one. John Weber says, I supported Trump even with his pompous mouth. Now I pray the new administration won't push their agenda of illegal immigrants, Planned Parenthood, abortion, and overspending. So we still have a lot of people that are nowhere close to being in the middle of any of these. We have a lot of work to do from here on out.
If you're a young voter, I feel like this is just the way you feel it is. Our last few elections have been this way, right? Pretty close, a lot of divide, a lot of people on opposite ends. I was thinking, geez, can you imagine what it was like to do a Sunrise Extra 30-some years ago in January of 1985, after President Reagan was elected by like a wide majority, the most ever in history. 49 out of the 50 states voted in favor of President Reagan, and that was a time, I'm sure, I can't remember it, I was too young, that was a time where I'm sure the majority of people would have been responding, this is great, can't wait, 4 more years, wonderful. We're just not in that time right now.
It's so funny that you mentioned that. We were just talking about this at my house because, I have a multi-generational house, and they were asking me, they were acting like this was always the way it was. And I said, no, not that long ago. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, there was a majority. Right? It wasn't always just razor thin, and it was the 2000 election that really hammered that home for me, the whole Gore-Bush thing and the Supreme Court getting involved. But before that, I mean, you look at, I said Mondale got slaughtered in a landslide when he ran. So, yeah, this is not the way it's always been.
Let's check in with some of the comments that folks left on our Facebook page. We've put them together so you can check them out. Shelley says she feels uneasy about where this country is headed, but I will hope and pray for the best. Next up is Gina. She says proud, happy, and hopeful. You can also text us your comments. You see the number there at the top of your screen. Dee says she's feeling stressed, nervous, and sick to my stomach. Next up is Gigi. She feels relief and hopeful. And Jason says he feels stoked. First female VP. We are witnessing history. in Kamala Harris. So yes, so here's the deal. We have on our website like all of the timed details of everything that's going to go on today, but really 8:30 is kind of the crux of it. Between 8:30 and 9 is when the official swearing in will happen, and right after that Joe Biden will make his inaugural address to the nation, and then there's lots of procedural things, as well as a escort to the White House and a visit to Arlington National Cemetery. And all of that, if you want specific details, also like, what celebrities or who's singing or who's invited, we have all of that listed on our website on a story on kgw.com. Jennifer Lopez is going to be there, Lady Gaga, and then of course tonight is going to be, I think at 7:30 is that virtual kind of parade and, performances and stuff.
So we've got a couple more comments on the stream this morning. Good morning to all of you. Kimmy Johnson Knox says, not watching, don't care, giving them the same respect they gave our outgoing president. And Jennifer Taft, one of our regulars, says, is it too early to drink? Have a joint? I'm optimistically hopeful, yet the work of fixing division is going to be work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the division is just pretty clear on this live Facebook feed right now. I mean, you've got one comment from Rhonda saying, today is a happy day, immediately followed by a comment from Sheila saying, doomed. I mean, it's not wishy-washy. It's pretty extreme one way or the other.
So I'm just curious, those who are weighing in, is there anything on either end of the spectrum or somewhere in between, is there anything, one half a thing that we could agree on? Is there any issue, anything that you think that both sides could agree on? Just pretend, just humor me. Is there anything? And maybe the answer is no. Yeah. I'm curious what you guys think.
Here's one thing that has troubled. I don't remember another period in our history where this, what I'm going to say real quick, troubled me, or I even remember hearing it. The comments about, not my president, or I'm angry, or what have you. And I mean, I've always been an idealist, but I think it's somewhat important for our country to realize that, Mr. Biden gets sworn in today. He will be the president of the United States of America, which means if you're an American citizen, he is your president. And I think, and why wouldn't you want to wish, seriously, think about it. Why wouldn't you want to wish the leader of our country all the best?
And a lot of, Republicans felt that exact same way 4 years ago, when Donald Trump was elected. And so, they would say that right back. But yeah, it is that, tit for tat kind of society that we live in now, unfortunately.
Process.
Well, it's tit for tat too, because we're in information silos. We're not all getting the same facts.
You hear what you want to.
Everybody. I just did a interview over the MLK holiday with Marcus Mundy, who is the executive director of the Coalition of Communities of Color. And I loved what he said, because it doesn't just apply to the King holiday. He said, I would just hope and challenge people to broaden their sources of information. Go look at something from the left, right, and the center, and see if you can reconcile what you're hearing.
Yeah,
and
that
just
was
kind of
such great
explore
advice.
those. Yeah, I thought it was good advice. Jeff Lucas says we would all be much better if we all listened to REM's Shiny Happy People every morning. That's funny.
Yeah.
Stanford Walker says, I agree, we're still Americans. I really, I don't often feel passionate about some of the things that we're talking about, but I have passion that Stanford says it perfectly, we're all Americans. And unfortunately, maybe not unfortunately, but part of having democracy and having elections is sometimes you're really happy with the person that wins, and sometimes you're not. But this is the process that I think we should cherish, and let's give our support to the men, and in this case, the men and women that would be leading our country.
I think we have a long way to go to obviously make half the country, feel comfortable the next go round for elections of, like transparency and all of that stuff to make everyone feel like this is a legitimate process. You've got to make it, like question proof. And I think in the next 4 years, we're going to see, technology is going to help so much. Now we're going to be used to this kind of, mail-in balloting or new technology that goes beyond, actual paper mail ballots. They'll figure it out, hopefully, somehow, that where everyone can kind of get on the same page, at least, for this act of voting and make people feel comfortable about it. I wanted to take that live picture. Have you guys heard, we've seen all those chairs and stuff and all the colors that they're showing on the National Mall? Because I don't think they're people, but I was wondering what it was. You were just showing that shot. Oh, they changed the shot. This is our live feed from NBC and our affiliate there.
If you see a chair there, my friend, your eyes are better than mine.
Well, they were having like shapes almost, kind of, and I don't know if their chairs set out with something,
maybe like a t-shirt draped
colors.
over the top of it.
Yeah, it's like a playoff
like the Rose Garden or the Moda Center.
Yeah, but it looked pretty cool, and they were making kind of, I thought it was like the shape of the United States.
Huh.
Oh, it was, but yeah, I wanted to know what were those colors? Are they flags? Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll watch this.
I'm totally confused.
It's interesting to.
Yeah,
we just showed
something all of us missed. But Rod, when you mentioned, the men and women who are going to be leading our country and be in the White House, you're talking about Kamala Harris. I remember I was old enough to remember Geraldine Ferraro when she ran and didn't make it as vice president, and now Kamala Harris is the first female VP. She's the first African American to get that post. She's also the first Asian American elected. Former senator, just on Monday, she had to, resign her Senate seat, but the Senate will be something that she's very familiar with in this divided era, because she's going to be the tie-breaking vote as vice president when things happen in the Senate.
Hey, Brenda.
But what a historic moment.
Can I ask you a question, dear, since we're just kind of unscripted, as we say, because you said something that I want you to help clarify, because I've had people bring it up to me. So our vice president, soon to be, born of, I believe, Jamaican and Indian parents. So my question is, and not that it overly matters, but my question is it correct to refer to her as an African American?
I think she's all those things.
Yeah.
As a person of color, she's got three things that, are in her biology. Sometimes I take issue with the identify with, because I'm biracial.
Right, yeah.
My mom is white, my dad is black. People would identify me as black because my skin is different, darker. But I identify as both. And I think she probably does too, again, giving a shout out to her mom, and to all the people of her heritage in her immediate family. So I do think, she's not only one thing.
Yeah. If you guys have been watching that Tiger Woods, the 2-part documentary on HBO, he, or like all of his friends kind of go into that history of when he was really coming up, and he is so many things, and like the word that he used to describe himself and all that stuff, which is pretty interesting. But let's take that live picture again, Brian, and I'm betting $10 that it's off of that shot again. No. Okay, so you see all of those colors and the stripes there on the mall. And they had a closer up shot, and they're all these different colors. And then toward the very
flag
back.
Is that not?
Well, they had a shape, and it was the United States, but I just wonder, like, those aren't people.
You're asking what are they making up the flag?
Yeah, what's the colors?
Nina's obsessed.
Well, COVID, I know it's not people.
I'm going to say T-shirts. Those are T-shirts making up the American flag. I have a question of historical significance. We can stay on this shot for the question if you'd like, but back to you, Brenda Braxton.
Oh, dear.
Not to do with the topic Rod brought up, to do with the second topic that you brought up.
What's that?
You mentioned Geraldine Ferraro, so then my mind started racing, right? That was the '84 race between Mondale and Reagan, and she was Mondale's running mate. So that was 36 years ago. Did you think at the time, Brenda Braxton, 36 years ago in 1984, it would take that long before we had a vice presidential, a female in the role of vice president? I'll put it that way.
Pause. What's that?
Oh,
you guys missed it.
Oh, we were looking.
It's the U.S. territories and Puerto Rico. Thank you, producer Brian. But that's what that shape was. What are those things? Little flags stuck in the grass? Little teeny American flags. So cute.
Then to Drew's point, what Sarah Palin?
I'm sorry. I wanted to know.
That's a live look in Woodburn. The Wood and Shoe Tulip Festival starts in April.
guys are obsessed with
I
this.
apologize. Now I know. I'll shut up.
So back in
seriously.
'84, to answer your question, I was a college student and not that plugged into, the bigger questions of how long will it take for a woman to become vice president or president or anything else. I mean, back then I probably didn't give it much thought other than, they're saying this is a first. She could be.
Even at 10, I remember it being a big deal, the fact that she was running for vice presidency, and it's something you would think would happen more commonly, but here we are again. It took 9 election cycles before we actually saw a female in that
Yeah, we had
position.
Sarah Palin and John McCain.
The third try,
They didn't make it, but Let's see what else are people saying on the stream.
Nina,
They tell me to shut up.
Do you see Washington, D.C. that's worth taking a look at? Willie Huey did chime in earlier. Now, Willie is considered one of the comedians amongst our regulars on Sunrise Action, but not comedy today. Willie, just stating fact. He says, we have lost the ability to have nuance in our conversations.
Yes.
He says, this 140 characters business isn't really enough to include context and mediation.
Yeah.
Well said there, Willie.
Very true.
Very,
Now,
very
please
true.
deliver a joke before Sunrise Extra is through, Willie. Because we count on you for some comic relief as well.
Yeah. Jennifer Taft said Mondale and Ferraro spoke at my high school. Really?
Really?
Like during the election run of '84?
I love hearing your Philly accent come out on certain words.
Was it 4?
Doreen.
During?
Howard Wright, he's honest. He says, I'm trying to answer Brenda's question. Man, that's one of the toughest riddles I've thought about.
Of what we can come together on?
Is no, yeah.
Really? Really? I'm sure there's things. I mean, gosh. Even in those, I don't know, I bring up another documentary the Swamp documentary, where they follow a lot of, Republican senators. Matt Gaetz of Florida, very controversial in this, last electoral vote. And he was even, listing off many things that, Republicans, at least in Congress, have in common with Democrats. And he was sitting at a table having a beer with a Democrat senator, and they were ticking off things that, like, hey, if we could just get past this stuff, like, we agree on, at least these 5 things that are pretty major.
I honestly, Brenda, don't think the answer, I think the answer is no to the question, is there anything we can all completely agree on? The answer is just no, right? There's nothing that the
Well, when I say all, just the people who are watching, I'm not talking about all 330
Yes, even those
million
all.
of us.
Even those all.
There's got to be something.
Got to be some. Although it's funny to me, there is a significant number of people that live here in the Northwest that would absolutely prefer 5 all-out rainy days in a row to 5 sunny days in a row.
No, you're right.
I don't hate the rain, but I'm definitely preferring the sunny day.
Yeah.
But that's a very simple illustration.
I agree, Rod. I agree with you. Hey, we got to give love to our YouTube viewers. We always shout out Facebook, but we've got plenty of commenters here on our YouTube stream. Morphman21 says, I'm excited for change. Kristen said, I'm scared for what may happen today, but happy for Joe to begin healing our country. Paul says, I'm so glad to see Trump go. I can't wait to see Biden and Harris change America. Let's see. Regulate says he feels betrayed by the election. So there you go. Thank you for watching us on YouTube, guys.
Michelle Lawrence says, sorry, Rod. Michelle Lawrence, real quick, says, my heart is literally breaking. Go ahead, Rod. Sorry.
I was going to say, Tracy Shamblis, who was a regular, says, give respect regardless of your emotions. Yes. Can that be all of our joint New Year's resolution moving into the new presidency that begins today? Let's try to respect each other.
So we did get a response from Chrissy on the Facebook live stream in regards to that art installation we're seeing there on the mall there in Washington, D.C. Chrissy, I don't know if you guys read this or saw this. She says 200,000 flags is what we were seeing there earlier on the ground. 200,000 flags in a display representing the people who are not able to attend the presidential inauguration today because of the COVID pandemic and restrictive security measures. She says the display represents all 50 states, Washington, D.C., and the United States' 5 permanently inhabited territories.
Very cool. Thank you for that, Google.
And
I
Jenny
appreciate
says,
it.
I believe every president should be given a chance. I did that with Trump and was sorely disappointed, but I did give him a chance to see what he could do.
Yes. Stanford Walker. Stanford and I are so close today. He says, our United States politics should not be thought of like a football game. It's not them versus us. It's we, the people of the United States. Yes.
And there's the Willie we know. He says, we can't even agree that LeBron James is the best ever. We're hopeless.
He's not.
He's not. Yeah,
Oh, my God.
Shannon Thompson says we can agree on the weather, at least with her.
Yeah.
All right, girl.
I agree.
A, LeBron James is not the best. B, I don't think we can agree on the weather. C, Jennifer Taft chimed back in and just confirmed for us that yes, it was during the presidential election year of 1984 that Mondale and Ferraro showed up at her middle school in Vermont.
Well, okay.
She said Vermont must have been an important state that year.
Oh, here's a good
Vermont's
question.
important every year.
So this was just texted to me. What local change can we all be a part of? Maybe we can start here at home. What about that? We'll just narrow it down until we find something.
Yeah.
What local change can we all be a part of?
I'd like to think that we could all agree with that statement. And I don't know what viewer you just read from, Brenda, but the one who said, I give every president a chance.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, there really shouldn't be another way to look at it. You can say all you want and predict how the next 4 years are going to look, what you think is going to happen, what this president is going to do for or not for the country. But really, I'm willing to give everyone a chance. And the beauty, like Rob was saying earlier, is that you have an opportunity in 4 years to change your vote or vote for the same person again, whatever the case may be. But we're not stuck with anybody for a relatively long period of time. We always have the opportunity to vote again.
And in 2 years, if you don't like the way things are going, you have a chance to maybe flip one of the houses in Congress, right? Which makes a huge difference in terms of what can actually be changed and what can't.
Very true. Very
Oh my gosh, people are weighing in. This is on the KGW account. I think the best NBA player of all time needs to be a Sunrise Extra topic at some point.
That's Jared.
There you go.
He's on our 3-on-3 Blazers podcast, so he knows the
He can
NBA
be our
quite
special
well.
guest.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
How about Tammy Hawk, who says, you want local change? Nina, Brenda, Rodney?
Yeah.
She says, how about if we could just be a little bit nicer to each other and show a little grace?
This you're watching live the motorcade arriving with President-elect Joe Biden and family as they show up there to the Capitol for Inauguration Day. Again, everything really starts going at about 8:30 here in an hour. And that's when the swearing in will happen between 8:30 and 9. And we saw a little snippet of President Obama and Michelle Obama this morning. They are there. Tons and tons of security. We had a live report from our sister affiliate there in D.C. about all of the streets blocked off. There's more National Guard troops there than in many foreign countries that we've deployed. Here in Portland, we do have several direct action events that are being hyped up online and slated for today in Portland this afternoon and tonight in southeast and northeast Portland. Portland police are prepared and ramped up for that. They canceled all vacation days for all officers just in case. So we will be watching those developments here in town. I please pray that everything stays peaceful. Because we've seen instances of it not happening after these direct action events. But
I mean, and a lot of people, as they should, condemn those. I got to say, every time I go downtown, because now I'm up here at our main studio, and every time I go downtown, you know, something else is boarded up, and it's very sad to see.
Yeah.
There's Kamala Harris wearing purple today. And there is our next president, the 46th president of the United States, Joe Biden, exiting. And, you know, this is just, it is weird. You know, everyone's, of course, wearing masks.
Right.
Double masks on that Secret Service agent right there.
And this is a live picture. If you're watching us this morning, this is happening.
Oh, I
as
like her
we
purple
speak.
look.
So this is a unique day for Sunrise Extra because we don't have to worry about local news cut-ins today during the Today Show because of NBC's coverage of the inauguration. So we can take this edition of Sunrise Extra longer than we've ever taken a previous episode in the history of the show.
There's Dr. Jill Biden.
I saw some fashion, magazines and fashion watchers kind of, like talking about their clothing choices, and all that kind of stuff is always kind of fun to watch.
Do you remember what they said about any of it?
No.
I haven't read that.
I'll tell you what.
Just some designer names,
Yeah. Go ahead. What do you want to interrupt with, Brian?
Ooh, Director Brian says, can we interrupt for the sunrise? That is amazing. Did you guys see the sunset last night, too?
Yes, I was just going to say.
It was incredible.
It lasted and lasted and lasted with these
like stripes across the sky.
Yeah.
Purple and pink and orange and all that stuff, but a beautiful sunrise today.
Can you show that one more time, Director Brian? Because I would argue, based on this picture, this live look.
Don't argue.
This live look, I would argue that perhaps in the future, all future presidential inauguration ceremonies are held in the Rose City.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Wouldn't this be a beautiful setting?
I disagree.
We overrule that.
Too much craziness. Yeah, there he is, ascending the steps.
Ascending. That's a great word.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
My
Sounds
Jesuit
very
high
grand.
vocab. He would be so proud.
There you go.
Sounds like a Catholic school.
Yeah.
Back to the local change. We can continue to watch this. It's fine. Tammy Hawk says local change. It would be, let's see, it would help if, oh, I'm sorry, not that one. I lost it. Oh, Shannon, that's the one I was looking at. Adopt a beach or riverside with Solve of Oregon. Good idea. Good idea.
We saw some great litter pickups from Solve this on Memorial Day, Martin Luther King Day on Monday. Like 4 different neighborhoods. On my drive home, I saw people, with the little grabbers and stuff. And thank you to those people who volunteered. We really need that in certain parts of the city. So, all right, you guys, I think that does it. We will let you watch on this historic inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris on a beautiful, beautiful Portland morning. We'll see you tomorrow.